What's going on, everybody? My name is Monster, and welcome to our NCL Season 2 Draft Analysis. Now, you might be wondering what happened to the NCL Season 1 videos last season. I did super trash, so I just decided to stop uploading it. I didn't think the content was very fun at that point, or very entertaining to watch, because I was just losing over and over. So I just stopped uploading it. So now we're here, Season 2, and we are looking for redemption. I believe I was 1-10 last season, or 1-11 last season. Pretty trash record. I had a really good team, but for some reason it just did not click, and I don't know why. So going into this draft, I was first overall pick, which was really cool. It's the first time I've ever been first overall pick. And so, I knew what I wanted for my Tier 2 and both of my Tier 3s, and I knew what I wanted for my Mega, but none of these picks were good enough to be a round 1 pick. So I was looking at the picks that I already knew I wanted, and I decided that an offensive fire was going to be needed at some point in the draft. And so I just started looking around in Tier 1 for the best offensive fire. Obviously, again, I'm first pick, so I get to pick whatever I want and nobody can stop me. So I first picked Victini. So I do have this in NSTL. However, this is the first time that I'm drafting Victini. I picked up NSTL from a trade because I took over the team there. But so we picked Victini because, again, I needed an offensive fire. I knew at some point I was going to have to pick an offensive fire. The other offensive fires in Tier 1 were like Blacephalon. I wasn't interested in Blacephalon at all. I had it in D&D. Really not all that great. And then something like Volcanion was a little bit too slow for me. I think there was like one other offensive fire that I can't seem to think of off the top of my head. That it just didn't really compare to Victini. I think this is going to be a really good pick for the team. It gives me a really nice offensive fire type, nice offensive psychic type as well. It's going to be nicknamed Chisei after the Ancient Magus Bride anime. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but I thought it was a beautiful anime. And Victini is red, so I named it after the main character there. A little bit about Victini is that its ability is Victory Star, which boosts the accuracy of all of its moves by 1.1. And it gets a lot of various moves like Blue Flare, Bolt Strike, Glaciate. V-Create is the big one. V-Create is a base 180 fire move, I believe. And I think its base accuracy is like 95, but because of Victini's ability, it's 100% accurate. And that's really nice. So Victini is really known just for banded V-creating things in the face and just obliterating mons, which is really cool. Victini's base stats are base 100 all across the board. Gives me a really nice speed tier right off the bat at base 100, which is really good. So we're starting out fast, which is really nice. I think this is going to be a really good pick for the team. For sure. I knew I was going to need the offensive fire, and Victini was easily the best one in Tier 1. So, in round 2, again, I knew what I wanted for my Tier 2s. I knew what I needed. I know what I wanted for both of my Tier 3s and my Mega. So my Tier 2, I figured wasn't going to go in round 2 or 3. Because it's really not that high of a priority in Tier 2, but I did think that one of my Tier 3s was going to be picked because it's very highly contested for some reason, and I thought my Mega was like the next best thing to pick in terms of what I wanted. So in round 2, again, I got first pick, so I got the wheel, but technically in round 2, I picked up Tangrowth. Tangrowth making an appearance for the third time on my teams so far. I've had it in NCL, I've had it in D&D, and I've had it in... I've had it in D&D, I've had it in NSTL, and I've drafted it again here. I absolutely love Tangrowth. It is probably my favorite mon to draft right now. Just adore the fact that this is so bulky, and it's just really, really solid. This also, so with Tangra, it gives me an extremely good ground sponge for Victini. Gives me a good water sponge for Victini. Really covers a lot of Victini's weaknesses there. And I just love Tangrowth. It's just my favorite grass type to draft. If I can draft it, I'm going to draft it. I love it. Its nickname is going to be Cuddles because that's what I always nickname my Tangrowth. And its main ability is Regenerator. It gets stuff like Chlorophyll too, and something else that I can't remember, but Regenerator is the big one, giving you health back whenever you switch out. So its base HP is 100, its attack is 100, its defense is 125, its special attack is 110, its special defense is 50, and its speed is 50. Do not let that special defense throw you off. This thing, fully specially defensive with an Assault Vest, is a fantastic special sponge. Just absolutely phenomenal mon. I personally like to draft pure grass types, or just grass types that can resist ground at the least. I feel like if you're a grass type and you do not resist ground, as in any grass or poison type, then you're really not doing your job on the team. And Tangrowth is a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal ground sponge, and I think it's so good. So yeah, I knew I wanted this for sure coming into the draft, and I knew I wanted this next pick for sure coming into the draft. And that is Meggitt Altaria. Now, I've been looking at Meggitt Altaria for about 3 drafts now. It's been sniped for me every time. It's gone a little bit too early for my tastes. So this time I was willing to pick it up a little bit earlier than I would have normally liked to. Meggitt Altaria gives me a really good setup sweeper. It's really known for Dragon Dancing and then Pixelate, returning things in the face. That is Meggitt Altaria's main ability there, Pixelate. Just boosting the power of... So what Pixelate does is it turns normal moves into fairy moves, and then it boosts the power of those fairy moves. So it's an extremely good ability. Meggitt Altaria is the only dragon and fairy type in the format, and it is definitely very good. I think it's going to serve the team really well. This technically gives me another ground immunity because Altaria's base form is a flying type, which is really nice. And I think it's going to be a very solid pick for sure. It's going to be nicknamed Floofs, as recommended to me by Anna, Jed's girlfriend. So yeah, Meggitt Altaria's base HP is 75, its attack is 110, defense 110, special attack 110, special defense 105, and speed is 80. So fantastic stats all around the board there. Base 80 speed is kind of lackluster on an offensive mon, but again, it's known for Dragon Dancing, so the base 80 speed isn't really that big of a deal. So yeah, I think this gives me a very good Dragon type, gives me a very good Fairy type. Now I don't have to spend 2 picks to get my Dragon and my Fairy type. I can get it in 1 mon, and I thought that was a really solid value there. And I definitely think it's going to be very good for the team as well. So with my next 2 picks, I've been wanting these 2 combination of mons for weeks now. Like way before NCL was supposed to be started, I knew I wanted these 2 mons, and luckily both of these mons were moved down a tier before Season 2 started, which in my opinion was just a green light to pick up both of these mons. As soon as I saw that they got moved down, I knew for sure that I was going to be drafting them without a doubt. I definitely pulled inspiration from this from Envy's GBA Season 8 team. Undoubtedly, once I realized the defensive pairing of these 2 mons, I thought it was very, very solid. And I couldn't wait to draft it myself. So with my next pick, I picked up Gliscor. So Gliscor is going to be nicknamed after Jed, and obviously its main ability is that Toxic Heal, allowing it to heal whenever it's poisoned. So it's really known for holding the Toxic Orb, getting poisoned, and getting a lot of HP back per turn. Gliscor is extremely bulky. Really, really solid ground and flying type. Gives me another thing to soak ground hits for Victini, obviously because it's immune. And yeah, I knew I wanted this for sure. Before I even came into this draft, I knew I wanted Gliscor without a doubt. I had to kind of haggle with Jed and Rudiger a bit because they both wanted Gliscor as well, but I told them that I'd been trying to get this for quite some time now, and they were willing to give it to me. So thank you guys for giving me Gliscor. I definitely wanted it very badly. So yeah, Gliscor's base HP is 75, its attack is 95, its defense is 125, its special attack is 45, its special defense is 75, and its speed is 95. Very solid stats all around the board. Very, very bulky. It's a good rock setter, good defogger for sure. It's a big staple in the UU tier. And I think it's really, really good. So at this point in my team, you can kind of see that I've developed a pretty major ice weakness. I have 3 weaknesses to ice, one of which is a ×4 weakness to ice. Obviously, Victini resists, but only having 1 resist for 3 weaknesses is pretty bad. And again, I knew I wanted this mon coming into the draft because it pairs defensively just absolutely amazing with Gliscor, and I knew I wanted this mon. So in order to give me an ice type switch in 100% of the time and to defensively pair with Gliscor literally perfectly, I picked up Empoleon. So Empoleon is going to be nicknamed Empoleana very fittingly as well, because my main defensive core for this team is going to be Gliscor, which is named Jed, and Empoleon, which is named Empoleana after Jed's girlfriend. So I didn't even notice that until I started, before I went over the slides right before I recorded this, which I thought was really cool. So Empoleon gets 2 really good abilities in Torrent and Defiant. Torrent boosting the effectiveness of water moves when Empoleon is low, and Defiant means that if somebody drops one of my stats, then I get an attack boost, which basically just makes it a very scary defog switch in. And it's just so bulky. Empoleon is best defogger, period. Again, I pulled a lot of inspiration from Envy's Season 8 draft in the GBA. He had Gligar and Empoleon in that draft, and so I got Gliscor because I thought Gliscor was a little bit better. So Empoleon's base HP is 84, its base attack is 86, its defense is 88, special attack 111, special defense 101, and speed is 60. So in all of these recent picks, I haven't been getting good speed tiers, but I've been getting a really good defensive core mons. Gliscor, Tangra, and Empoleon are a very balanced defensive core and cover each other very well. And I think it's going to be very solid for the team. Empoleon best defogger. It's also a really good rock setter, so now I have 2 defoggers and 2 rock setters in the first 5 rounds, which is really good. So my next pick, which I don't actually remember because I only remember the first 5, I picked up Cryogonal. That's right. This was highly suggested to me by Ian. He said that it looked amazing on my team. I needed the ice type, and I do think it's really good. At this point, I have a pretty decent ground weakness in Victini and Empoleon, and I don't really have much to sponge it outside of Tangra. With Meggitt Altaria can in its base form, but after that, when I Mega Evolve, it does not do that anymore. So I thought getting Cryogonal was really good because its ability is Levitate, obviously making it fully immune to ground moves. It also gives me a lot more removal. It gets another defogger, and it's a rapid spinner, which is really solid there. It's going to be nicknamed Kade because I sniped this from Kade pretty massively too. It wasn't an intentional snipe. I had planned this pick about a full day before he decided he was going to get Cryogonal, and I already knew I wanted this, so I knew I wanted this in this round, or this wheel pick for me. And Cryogonal's HP is 80, its attack is 50, its defense is 50, its special attack is 95, special defense is 135, and its speed is 105. So now I'm starting to amend these slow speed tiers that I've been picking up with my recent picks, giving me something to slot in above Victini, which is really good there. And as I said, I don't have a major fighting type weakness at all because I have Victini, I have Gliscor, and I have Meggitt Altaria, all of which just tank fighting hits for days. Now, I don't have a bad fire weakness either. Meggitt Altaria resists, Victini resists, and Gliscor is also a good switch in. And Empoleon only takes neutral damage from a fire hit, so I thought Cryogonal was definitely very good on the team. And so my next pick, which I actually do remember, I knew I wanted this mon before the draft started too, and I wasn't sure if it was going to land to me. This mon also got moved down a tier, so picking up a lot of value here. So my next pick, I picked up Raikou. Now, I did have Raikou in Season 1 of NCL, but we do not speak of Season 1. So, clean slate, never drafted Raikou before. And, yeah, here we are with Raikou for the first time, obviously. It's going to be nicknamed after Kaminari, the character in My Hero Academia, a phenomenal anime. Its ability is pressure, just like every other legendary Pokemon. Its HP is 90, attack 85, defense 75, special attack 115. Special defense 100 and speed 115. So I needed the speed tier. I needed something to be above Victini and Cryogonal. And I definitely knew that I was going to need a fast, especially offensive threat like Raikou. And I knew I was going to need an electric type at some point. And Raikou fit all of those roles, which is really good. Really good Volt Switcher. I have a nice little Volt Turn Core now with Victini and Raikou. Gliscor also gets U-Turn as well. So really nice momentum on the team right now. So yeah, the main point of Raikou was to be a fast, especially offensive threat, and it's my only electric type, which is really solid there. So yeah, with my next pick, I decided to pick up Keldeo. Now, I got sniped really hard this round. My initial plan was to pick up Tier 2 Gengar, because I wanted the grounded poison and I wanted the ghost type, and Gengar was just the best way to get both of those in one mon. But Ben sniped it from me. It was a really unfortunate snipe. I had a whole plan based around the fact that I was going to get Gengar, and I had to redo pretty much the entire second half of my draft. And Keldeo was the fighting type that I ended up settling on. Another kind of secondary core that people go for in Draft League is Psychic, Fighting, Dark. Because they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well in general. So I knew I wanted the fighting type, and I was looking around and there just really weren't any appealing fighting types at this point in the draft. Tier 2 Conkeldurr was gone, and stuff like that. I couldn't draft Tier 3 Mienshao at this point either. So Keldeo just made the most sense at this point. I've never drafted Keldeo before, and this is my second water type. But I have really good electric sponges. Gliscor is immune. Tangra is a phenomenal electric sponge. Meggitt Altaria resists, and Raikou exists. So I don't really think the second water type mattered all that much. But yeah. So as I said, the main defensive core of my team is Gliscor, Tangra, and Empoleon. So I didn't really think I needed any more bulk at this point, and I needed the fighting type. So Keldeo fit all of these things. Its base HP is 91, attack 72, defense 90, special attack 129. Special defense 90, and its speed is 108. So another thing that kind of slots him, so this is another thing. This is a thing that slots in between Cryogonal and Raikou, which is pretty good. And yeah, so this is just a really solid fighting type. That was the main reason I picked it up, is because I needed a fighting type, and Keldeo was the best one at this point in the draft. So at this point in the draft, for me, also Kade is going to be named after Dom, or Rudiger67, another good friend of mine. So for me at this point, I have a lot of special attackers, but at the same time, I have a lot of things that can be mixed. Victini can be mixed, Tangrowth can be mixed, Empoleon can be mixed, and Meggitt Altaria can be mixed as well. Raikou and Keldeo are both especially offensive, and Cryogonal especially offensive. But other than that, I have a lot of mixed attackers. Gliscor is obviously main stab is physical, but it's going to be bulky, not an actual physical threat. So definitely something that I should probably try and patch up. I attempt to, but I don't think I do a good job of it. There wasn't a lot left around at this point in the draft. But with my next pick, I decided to pick up Zoroark. At this point, I really felt like I didn't have anything to kill a Psychic type or a Ghost type. I have some coverage for it in like Victini and Raikou, but other than that, the Psychic and Ghost killer did not exist. So I felt like I needed an offensive Dark type. There were some good bulky ones at this point, but I felt like the offensive Dark type was what I wanted. And so I picked up Zoroark, which was easily the best one sitting there at this point in the draft. I was thinking about picking up Bisharp. So like my original plan was Gengar, Bisharp, I think, and Gengar and Bisharp both went in the same round, which was super rough. But Zoroark was sitting there in tier 4, and I thought that it was the best thing for me. It's going to be nicknamed after Tokoyami in My Hero Academia. just because it's a dark type and Tokoyami's quirk is a shadow. So yeah, Zoroark's main ability is illusion, so I can disguise it as other mons like Victini and or Raikou or something like that, and catch opponents off guard, which I think is really cool. So Zoroark's base HP is 60, its attack is 105, defense 60, special attack 120, special defense 60, and speed 105. So again, yet another mainly specially offensive mon, but can be physically offensive. Definitely doesn't have a bad physically offensive attack stat at all. And it's got a nice speed tier at 105. I now have two 105s in Cryogonal and Zoroark. So I think that's really cool. And I think Zoroark is definitely going to function very well on the team. So with my next pick, I needed a ghost type. And I needed a poison type. I didn't have either at this point. Also with Zoroark, I completed my Psychic Fighting Dark Core with Victini, Calvillo, and Zoroark. So something to note there as well. But I needed a ghost type, needed a poison type. And the only one sitting there in tier 5 was Haunter. Haunter is going to be named after Ectoplasm. That sounds like a very basic ghost name, but I actually intended it to be named after the teacher in My Hero Academia. So yeah, I actually think Haunter is a really solid pick. It gives me another ground immunity for stuff like Raikou, Empoleon, and Victini, which I think is really solid. And it's actually very good for being a middle evolution. Its HP is 45, attack 50, defense 45. Its special attack is 115, its special defense is 55, and its speed is 95. So giving me a nice 95 speed tier, which I think is really solid. I think it's gonna be pretty good on the team. I don't think it's a bad mon by any means, and I think it can be very good. I just knew I needed the ghost type and the poison type because I had neither on the team so far. And yeah, so I went with Haunter. So with my next pick, I was trying to diversify my my hazards because all of my hazards at this point are rocks. With Gliscor setting rocks and Empoleon setting rocks. I think that's it from what I can see. So I wanted to diversify my hazard setting. I drafted this initially thinking that it got spikes. It does not get spikes. It gets toxic spikes, which I didn't know. But the mon is Frogadier. I really thought this got spikes because Greninja gets spikes, but from what I was told, the way it works is Greninja gets it at level 28 when it's technically still a Frogadier, but it's a move that you have to use a heart scale to learn. So only Greninja gets it, which is pretty unfortunate, but I did accomplish what I was trying to do, which was diversify my hazards. So I got a toxic spike setter, which I think is really cool. And Frogadier is no slouch. I thought that Frogadier was kind of bad, but I was watching A-Drive versus Chase in the P4G, and a Frogadier Life Orb Timid Ice Beam with Protean was actually going to OHKO A-Drive's Dragalge at full HP, which I thought was insane. Protean is just a broken ability, and this is not Greninja, so Protean is allowed on Frogadier, which is really cool. And I think it's going to be really solid on the team. It's going to be named after Magic. My initial plan was to name it Asui, obviously from My Hero Academia, but Magic requested to be named after Frogadier, so that's what it is named after. So Frogadier's base HP is 54. Its attack is 63, its defense is 52, its special attack is 83, its special defense is 56, and its speed is 97. So something that slots in above Haunter and below Victini, which I think is a really solid speed tier on my team. And yeah, so it's here to set toxic spikes and be a really good, especially offensive threat. Because even though on paper you might not think Frogadier is good, but in calcs you'll see that Frogadier is actually a pretty big threat. So yeah, that's my team. My overall opinion of the team is that I think it's really good. I technically have 4 defoggers in Gliscor, Empoleon, Cryogonal, and Meggitt Altaria. And I have 3 setters, Gliscor, Empoleon, and Frogadier, all of which are very good. I think my hazard game is pretty strong. And I think the team is just really balanced. Gliscor, Tangra, and Empoleon are a solid defensive core with Cryogonal to back them up. And I think that defensive core covers for any weaknesses that I would have on the rest of my team, which is really solid. And yeah, I think my team is going to be very good in NCL. NCL is stacked this season. Every coach is just extremely good. And there are a lot of very threatening teams, but I feel like mine can definitely be just as threatening as theirs. Let me know what you guys think about my team in the comments below. And be sure to like the video and subscribe if you are not already subscribed. Also, I'll be linking the NCL YouTube channel in the description below. I've been releasing a lot of content there. I believe I already have like 3 or 4 videos that I am in on the NCL channel, and I have my own series there. I'll have 2 series, but one of them won't start until this Monday. But please be sure to check that out. I release a lot of content there as well, and I think it's really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and have a good day.